25 NBA mock draft. We are just 8 days away from the 2025 draft. I'm going to try to get some more NBA draft content out for you guys. Also some NBA finals stuff too, talking about game 5. That was a pretty great game. But talking about the 2025 NBA draft, ESPN just dropped their new mock draft with Jonathan Givony and Jeremy Woo. They're two top analysts. We're going to assess it, we're going to look at it, we're going to react to it, and make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description to submit your video ideas, and let's get right into it with the first overall pick being Cooper Flagg to the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, this is the pick. This has never not been the pick since the draft lottery has ended. Nothing I have to say about here. You guys have heard me talk about Cooper Flagg for the last 12 months, so we know what type of prospect he is. We know how lucky the Mavericks are to get him, and 100% I agree with that pick at number 1. At number 2, I don't know if there's trades in this mock draft, but we should know who's number 2 as well, and it is Dylan Harper to the San Antonio Spurs. I've talked about the Spurs situation if they do end up with Dylan Harper. I think right now he could be a great backup guard to De'Aaron Fox, depending on what we want to do with Chris Paul this upcoming offseason. But when it does get down the line, and we have to have the conversation, Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, because they're all going to want $50+ million. Probably going to have to move on from one of them. I'm just looking way down the line. Right now, you can just enjoy the fact that you have 2 really great young blue chip prospects and a great all-star point guard. But, it's going to get to a point, a couple years in the future where we have to make a decision between probably 2 out of the 3. Maybe the oldest one is going to be out the door. At number 3, this is where we could see a big change, in my opinion. This could be Knipple, in my opinion. This could be Trey Johnson. This could be VJ Edgecombe, Common Malawach. But most likely it is going to be Ace Bailey. At 3, the Sixers are going to take VJ Edgecombe. I've heard Philadelphia is more enamored with VJ Edgecombe as a prospect than Ace Bailey, which I do understand. I think VJ Edgecombe can help them out, win games immediately, way better than Ace Bailey. I think Ace Bailey can come in as more raw, high potential type of guy. VJ Edgecombe can actually get on the court and guard another team's, not best player, but maybe second or third best player, just because he's coming out of Baylor with those abilities. If VJ Edgecombe can hit the open 3, he's going to be able to play on any team in the NBA, playoff team, lottery team. He's going to get minutes because he's just that steady of a consistent basketball player, where if he's going to play elite defense, which we know he is, if he's going to knock down the open 3, and he's going to be the same athletic freak we know that he has the capabilities to be, 3 to the Sixers makes sense. I've heard that the Sixers might be leaning more VJ Edgecombe, so my next upcoming mock draft, maybe I will do that. At 4, it is going to be, who has the 4th pick? 4 is going to be the Jazz? No, the Hornets. Knipple to the Hornets. That is passing up on Trey Johnson, which I don't know how much I love about that. Trey Johnson, in my opinion, might have just risen up to be the number 3rd overall prospect in this mock draft for my personal big board. I've just watching more film. I'm loving his game even more. I mean, the shots that he was able to hit at Texas, the big time shots, SEC tournament, getting to March Madness, obviously falling short in the first 4, but the levels of game that he was able to display at Texas this year, absolutely insane, especially for a freshman. I think he was the most talented scorer in college basketball last year. But I love Knipple too. I think at 4 to the Hornets, if they do want a steady shooter to plug right in between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, Knipple makes the most sense. Really consistent 3-point shooter. He's probably the most consistent 3-point shooter in this class. He's also able to put the ball on the floor like we saw while Cooper Flagg was out during the ACC tournament. Overall, honestly, maybe you say to throw up between him, Ace Bailey, and Trey Johnson, and if the Hornets want the more consistent shooter, then you would take Knipple, who's actually the more consistent overall field goal shooter out of those 3 prospects. At 5, this is going to be the Utah Jazz. They're going to end up taking Trey Johnson over Ace Bailey. All right, so that means, in their opinion, that the scoring upside or the overall upside of Trey Johnson is better than Ace Bailey. I don't agree with that, really. I think if they're both on the board, the Jazz would end up taking Ace Bailey. But hey, if they want what maybe comes in right away and is a little bit better, more efficient at getting that ball through the hoop, can hit maybe the tougher shots and can fit in your system a bit better with maybe Isaiah Collier running the show, maybe you do take Trey Johnson. But I think because of the upside that Ace Bailey does have, if he falls to 5, I don't think that the Utah Jazz would skip on him. That doesn't really make too much sense to me. But like I said, I do love Trey Johnson, and he's a better prospect for me than Ace Bailey right now. At 6, We have the Wizards, obviously. If Ace Bailey is on the board at 6, the Wizards will 100% take him, no matter if they have a plethora of wings already, and guys like Bilal Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, Corey Kispert. Honestly, if you want to say Bob Carrington's a wing, they have a lot of great young wings right now. I'm obviously missing some as well. So Ace Bailey's probably not the best fit for their team specifically, but if he's at 6, I know they're really in love with Jeremiah Fears, but if Ace Bailey's at 6, you do not go Jeremiah Fears. You go Ace Bailey, 100% the right pick. Wizards fans should be happy that you fell all the way to 6 in the draft lottery and still got maybe a top 2 prospect. At 7, this is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans are going to end up taking Jeremiah Fears. I talked about it personally. I think if Jeremiah Fears and Kasper Siakajonas are still on the board for the New Orleans Pelicans, I think I would maybe side with Kasper Siakajonas just because his playstyle kind of fits what the Pelicans need more specifically. I think the Pelicans could use Jeremiah Fears' downhill abilities, but with their shooters and Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins, Herb Jones obviously can maybe stretch it out. Maybe Brandon Boston for next year. They have a lot of shooters. CJ McCollum. And obviously their main guy, Zion Williamson, who thrives on being able to go downhill. I think I would pick a point guard that can more set those guys up, be a better playmaker, than a guy that maybe is just more focused on going downhill and creating his own shot. So in my opinion, Kasper's abilities as a lead guard probably outweighs Jeremiah Fears just a little bit. That's why I would take him over Jeremiah Fears at 7 specifically for the Pelicans. But either way, it's fine, I guess. I would prefer Kasper's, though, to the Pelicans, specifically at number 7. At 8, we have the Nets. This should be, Kamen Malawach. Surprised he was still on the board at number 8. But, within the next 2 years, the Nets are most likely going to move off the Nick Claxton contract. We're going to be developing Kamen Malawach underneath him. I think they have really similar skill sets. I think Claxton's actually one of the, I don't know if he was one of the players that I compared Malawach to. But yeah, Malawach, great rim roller. He's a really good rim protector and can finish a lob as well. Really raw prospect. That's why he might fall a little bit in this draft. I actually think he can go as high as, I would say 3 to the Sixers, but maybe that's out of question now. But I think he can go as high as 6 to the Wizards. I really like the fact of a Kamen Malawach, Alex Sarr front court defensively for the future. That just sounds insane. But yeah, Malawach at 8 to the Nets. It makes sense. Maybe you think about Kasper Siakajonas, but I think with Jeremiah Fears off the board, you have to take the high upside in Kamen Malawach. At number 9, we have the Raptors going Noah Asenge. That's over a couple guys, which is pretty interesting. Who is that go? That's over Carter Bryant, who's someone I think the Raptors have loved during the pre-draft process. Derek Queen, who I'm personally lower on, so I don't really care that he's not going number 9. Asa Newell, I don't think he's at that point anymore. I would say so far the main guy is Carter Bryant. Colin Murray-Boyles, Rasheer Fleming, all guys I could see go at number 9 to the Raptors, but they're going with the super upside, the super raw, boomer bust type of guy in Noah Asenge. Defensively, I think Noah Asenge could come in and perform right away for an NBA team just because he has all those abilities he showed at Ratio Farm last year. Defensively, of course. Offensively, that's probably going to be a 3-year, 4-year experiment. I don't know if he's going to come in offensively and do anything at all, especially for a Raptors team who are still trying to find out what they're heading with. Getting Brandon Ingram, still having Scotty Barnes. We'll see what happens to RJ Barrett this offseason. Their offense is probably not going to be too complimentary to Noah Asenge. I don't think he plays at all if the Raptors are at all competing in the Eastern Conference. But hey, if you want to take the upside defensively in Noah Asenge, I understand the pick. I don't think he is good enough to go top 10. I personally, my last mock draft had him at 21 or something to the Utah Jazz. I think he could go mid to late teens. 9 is pretty crazy to me though. Maybe his draft rise is going to be noticeable though. At 10, we're going to have Carter Bryant to the Houston Rockets. I like this pick. I think it's probably between Carter Bryant or Kasper Siakajonas, but I think Bryant is 100% the right pick. Bryant, really good at finding his spot in the mid-range, is a great catch and shooter already. I know he didn't show too much at Arizona. Obviously, that was a talented team last year. They didn't play a lot, but we saw basically everything we needed to see for him to be a top 10 pick. Great defender, has great size to be a defender. Wingspan about 7 feet, so I think that's sizable enough for what we're trying to figure out him as a prospect. And like I said before, can catch and shoot, work in the mid-range, and overall just a really solid wing prospect for the future. At 11, we have Kasper Jonas to the Trailblazers. I think this is exactly what I had in my trade mock draft. I think at Kasper's at 11, he had a little bit of a fall, so I do understand this. People might say, hey, no Kasper's here because we have an Anthony Simons, we have Scoot Henderson. I think you shouldn't 100% pencil in Anthony Simons for the Portland Trailblazers' future. I could see him get moved within the next couple of weeks. Simons, a great scorer, but there could be a team, maybe, that wants to bank on that score and help them, whether that's off the bench or whether that's in the starting lineup. I think Kasper can come in right away, play next to guys like Scoot Henderson and like Shaedon Sharpe, because I think Kasper can play off the ball as well. I don't think he's just a lead guard. He has great size, 6'4" and 3/4 without shoes, so about 6'6" with shoes. Can shoot the ball, can also put the ball on the floor as more than just a facilitator. So at 11 to the Blazers might see the point guard position and say, why are we picking this guy? Do not view it as that. View it as another dynamic guard you could add to your plethora of talent, young talent already. At 12, Bulls take Derek Queen. Rasheer Fleming still available. Who else is still available? Colin Boyles still available. But I think if Queen is available at 12 for the Bulls, they would 100% take him. They cannot pass up on all that scoring upside, all that versatility he brings at his position. He can't shoot the ball, but he can put the ball on the floor. He's great touch around the rim. He has a mid-range jump shot. And overall, his craftiness for his size might be warrant of a top 14 pick automatically. Even if he can't shoot, even if he can't play defense, I think Derek Queen is a really fun prospect to look at, but definitely a lot of questions to his game. I had him last time, I think, at 10 to the Phoenix Suns because I had the Kevin Durant trade. But yeah, I do like 12 to the Bulls. I think that would be a good pick. At 13, Yegor Demon. Ooh, okay. To the Atlanta Hawks. So we're passing up on noticeable bigs that are still on the board, like Colin Boyles, like Rasheer Fleming, who I'm really high on, and we're taking a guard. The Hawks do have 2 first-round picks. I think their second one is, at 22? So maybe they can address the position big man at 22. Maybe Rasheer Fleming still on the board. Maybe they go a guy like Maxime right now. Maybe they go with Joan Berger. There's a lot of guys that can be available at 22. If you like the upside of Yegor Demon, this is a guy that honestly almost snuck into the top 3 in early season mock drafts because of how great he was, but obviously cooled down just a bit. But he has great size. I think he could be more than just a pure point guard. He could be a point forward. Obviously, he's going to have to put some weight on, which might be harder to do, or harder to say than do, especially if you're played like at this your whole life. But yeah, great size. He can be a playmaking hub. I don't understand how well maybe he works in the Atlanta Hawks system, but honestly, it's a cool pick at 13 if you really want to bank on his upside. At 14, we're going to have Joan Berger to the San Antonio Spurs. So we end up going with Dylan Harper and Berger here in the first round for the Spurs. I think with who is on the board, I know Berger is going to be a really enticing prospect because of his upside, because of his raw abilities right now. But with Rasheer Fleming on the board, who I'm penciling in to be a really, really high-level NBA player, with Colin Boyles being on the board, whose defense is really tough to pass up on, Berger here kind of feels a bit early. I'd prefer Rasheer Fleming 100%. I think he'd be perfect in that Spurs system, can be small ball 5, can guard every position on the court. I love him as a prospect. He's a top 10 prospect for me. Berger, though, feels like it's a bit early. At 15, Thunder are going to take Colin Boyles. Yeah, I think if he's still on the board, you have to go Colin Boyles, especially for this Thunder team. I think if you look 2 years into the future and we see Isaiah Hartenstein's on an expiring deal and we don't really want to pay him that 25 or 20, maybe he'll ask for a bit less because hometown discount. Maybe he'll ask for about 15 plus million, 20 plus million. You can't pay him because at that time, Chet's going to be extended. J-Dub's going to be extended, probably the max extensions. Shea, we know what money he's going to get. You're probably extending Caruso. You're probably going to extend guys like Aaron Wiggins. Maybe Isaiah Joe's out the door at that point. But you have to look at life beyond Isaiah Hartenstein. And while he obviously doesn't have Isaiah Hartenstein's height, he's about, what, half a foot smaller than him? You do have to take the upside in defense that Colin Murray-Boyles brings. If he ends up with a three-point jump shot, it's all the better. But the fact that he might be able to guard all 5 positions on the court, that makes him a lottery pick for me personally. At 16, we're going to have the Grizzlies take Jace Richardson. I think that's exactly what I had in my mock draft as well. Yeah, Jace Richardson to the Memphis Grizzlies. They did lose Desmond Bane, and they are looking for a replacement. I think that can come in Jace Richardson. I think that can come in Cedric Howard. But yeah, Jace Richardson does make sense. Will give you a scoring punch off the bench right away. I don't know if he plays because they do have Cole Anthony in that second unit as well, and Jace Richardson won't be a starter. And I don't know if you would really play Jace Richardson over Cole Anthony as a rookie especially, but maybe he does outplay and surprise, but I would for sure go Cole Anthony. But yeah, scoring punch for the future, maybe a long-term Desmond Bane replacement, or maybe he's just a really good scoring guard off the bench. Either way, it's a cool pick. He is only 6 feet tall and 178 pounds, so he's like a slightly evolved version of me, but still, he would work for sure at 16. 17, Thomas Sorber to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So yeah, we really don't think we're bringing back Naz Reid if we're adding another big man to the rotation. I gave them Cedric Howard in my mock draft because I thought it was guaranteed. They lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker. But hey, if you're losing Naz Reid, you need a replacement as well. Thomas Sorber makes sense. I think I had him at 14 in my mock. 17 for the Timberwolves. Can develop him in your system. Gritty defensive system. Could also move with the ball in his hands. He's not going to be down on the block center where really he only has the drop step. No, he's a guy that can move with the ball. He's a really versatile offensive weapon because he can shoot the mid-range jump shot, great touch around the rim, and a really underrated passer as well. He did get hurt, what was that, January, February? It was a foot injury. He is back though, or he should be back though, for all the things that are necessary, training camp, summer league, all that type of stuff. Sorber 17 to the Minnesota Timberwolves is a good pick. At 18, we have Asa Newell to the Washington Wizards. Another pick I had spot on. I like this a lot for the Wizards. I think Asa Newell is going to complement what they have in Alex Sarr right now. Sarr is a really great three-point shooter. Asa Newell is someone that has good touch around the rim, is a really good roller in the pick and roll, is a good lob threat as well. The three-point shot was expected to be there when he came in at Georgia. Wasn't 100% there. Maybe it is developed at the NBA level. At 19, we're going to have Will Riley to the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, this is actually, I don't think it's that bad. Will Riley's a really raw player, I would say, right now. He did show a lot of flashes at Illinois. Early in the season, he was shooting the three really well. Mid-season, he kind of cooled down. But late season, he was knocking down that three again, and he was managing in the mid-range. He was navigating to his spot. He was finishing around the rim. So I think you can take him at 19. Really solid prospect. I like this pick a lot to the Brooklyn Nets. 20 is Liam McNeely to the Miami Heat. Obviously, UConn fan. You could see the banner and the Kemba Walker poster in the back. But I don't know about his fit at 20 to the Miami Heat. Not because he's a bad player, but the players that are still on the board, one being Cedric Howard. I think I would take him over Liam McNeely at this point. Walter Clayton Jr. is definitely a conversation, but because Coward's still on the board, I love Cedric Howard as a prospect as well. I mean, guys, Trey Johnson, Cedric Howard, Rasheer Fleming, those are just prospects I've fallen in love with during the process. But yeah, with Coward still on the board, I don't know how much I like this pick. Speaking of Cedric Howard, the Jazz get a steal at 21. I don't think is he going to say he's from Duke University when he gets drafted? Because he was going to transfer there, but then he had to go ahead and declare for the draft because he was that good. I wonder if it's going to say from Duke University or Washington State. Probably what he decides. But yeah, Cedric Howard, 21, Utah Jazz. Great scorer. He's an elite shooter. Also a really amazing mid-range shooter. Defensively, I think he's pretty solid as well. Could definitely improve at some stuff. But he's a 6'6" wing or guard with a 7'2" wingspan. Doesn't get much better than that. Insane measurements right there. Rasheer Fleming 6'9" with a 7'4" wingspan. So you're telling me you're 3 inches shorter with only a 1.5 shorter wingspan? That's pretty insane. But Coward, I think he could evolve into a really, really solid role player in the NBA and maybe even something bigger. I'm that high on Cedric Coward. The Jazz got a steal at 21. I would hate to see him go to a team like the Jazz. I want to see him go to a team that can compete right away, not the Utah Jazz. 22, Danny Wolf to the Atlanta Hawks. I was right. They did end up going big with their second first-round pick. We saw them go with Yegor Demon with their first one. Right now, still on the board. That's kind of... Is that Rasheer Fleming still on the board? Is Rasheer Fleming... If Rasheer Fleming's still on the board, I hate this pick. Wolf, though, solid prospect. He's definitely a late first-round pick for me. 23, Neat Clifford. Neat Clifford is still on the board. Okay. So a couple of these picks might look a little bit weirder. The Heat take McNeely over at Neat Clifford. I don't know about that. But yeah, Neat Clifford at 23 to the Pacers. Wow, this would be crazy. A team that was in the NBA Finals gets one of the most pro-ready prospects right away. I could see Neat Clifford playing big minutes for the Indiana Pacers right away. He's a great natural scorer at the wing position, especially for Colorado State last year. He was a great rebounder and defender as well. I think his game will assimilate really well to the NBA level because, yes, he was a #1 scorer, go-to guy for Colorado State last year, but he could be a really nice role player. Maybe be Josh Hart, maybe be a bit worse at passing, but better at scoring than what Josh Hart was doing for the Knicks for the last couple of years. I like Neat Clifford a lot at 23 to the Pacers. That is a steal. 24 is Hugo Gonzalez to the Thunder. All right, I'm going to guess Rasheer Fleming has gone, and I just forgot his name because Hugo Gonzalez should not be a top 24 pick in the NBA draft. This is a guy I had as a top 5 prospect going into the year, not getting too much burn at Real Madrid, and really just, I don't know. I could still see him as a first-round pick, but obviously I'm not that in love with him as a prospect as I was all those months ago. At 25, Maxime right now. Shout out to the new Magic logo. Should I have reacted to that? I don't know. Right now at 25 to the Orlando Magic. I forgot they had the 25th overall pick, but yeah, they did because I always mocked them 2 shooters. They did trade their first pick to the Grizzlies, and they ended up taking Jace Richardson. So at 25 to the Magic, would you rather big in right now to maybe replace Wendell Carter Jr. or maybe more of a shooter? I don't exactly know who's still on the board right now for shooting, but there's probably definitely some options you can go with. Traore, 26 to the Brooklyn Nets. Makes sense. Take a high upside player. I like this pick a lot at 26. Another guy that was a top 3 prospect at the beginning of the year for me. Didn't get a lot of burn at St. Quentin. His shot didn't look great. He has gotten better over time, and I think he's for sure lock as a first-round guy. Rasheer Fleming at 27 to the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, wow. You're telling me the OKC Thunder would take Hugo Gonzalez over Rasheer Fleming? I understand they did take Colin Murray-Boyles up already, but Rasheer Fleming has proven to shoot the three-point shot way better than Hugo Gonzalez. I mean, how many guys missed out on Rasheer Fleming? I give the Pacers a pass because I think Neat Clifford is that level as a prospect as well. But I would have taken him to the Hawks. I would have taken him probably to the Jazz. I would have 100% taken him to the Heat. Imagine Rasheer Fleming in that Heat system. Yeah. Wow. 27. The Brooklyn Nets got a steal. This is a top 10 prospect for me. Rasheer Fleming falls all the way to 27. Bro, 6'8", 6'9", plus with shoes on, with a 7'5" wingspan. I said 7'4". It's 7'5". You guys can understand why I have fallen in love with him as a prospect. Insane measurements, insane on-court abilities as well. Crazy he fell that far. 28, Drake Powell to the Boston Celtics. This is cool for me. Celtics do, if all the big men are off the board that we really want, like right now, like Berger, let's go ahead and take a wing. Maybe that could be Drake Powell. Maybe it can be Noah Pende. There's a lot of guys you could take, but Powell probably should have stayed at North Carolina, or not stayed at North Carolina. Probably should have transferred somewhere else, but good pick for the Celtics at 28. Would have loved to see Adou Thiero, actually. I think he's a lot better of a prospect. At 29, we have the Phoenix Suns taking Walter Clayton Jr. Great pick right here. I think Walter Clayton Jr., first of all, him being 6'2" without shoes is honestly pretty crazy to me. I thought he was going to be measured underneath 6'1", maybe 6'1.5", something like that. But 6'2" with shoes, he's going to be a legit 6'3" at the NBA level, so maybe he could play on and off the ball. especially for a Phoenix Suns team that has a couple of guards over there already. But yeah, what a pick for the Phoenix Suns. Getting Walter Clayton Jr., honestly, I think this is a guy that could for sure give great product to a team right away, production, especially to a team like the Phoenix Suns that are trying to figure out where they are in the Devin Booker prime. So Walter Clayton Jr. coming in, maybe replacing Monte Morris and Tyus Jones as the point guard over there. I like it a lot for the Suns. And the last pick, it's going to be the Clippers. I think there's a lot of guys that could still go. Kalkbrenner, Aduthiero, Cam Jones is someone I really like to them. I think they're going to go Cam Jones. At 30, it's going to be Noah Penda, actually. I'm surprised they would not go NBA-ready guy like Cam Jones at 30. This is a team that needs more guard depth. Cam Jones is a really proven college prospect for 4 years, really consistent play at Marquette, and got even better this year as a lead guard facilitator. Last year, Tyler Kolek led the nation in assists. This year, Cam Jones really filled his shoes almost to perfection. But yeah, at 30, Clippers take Penda. Would definitely rather a Cam Jones, but Penda, another guy just like Noah Esenge that has a really high ceiling defensively, but a really low floor offensively. So you can argue whether or not he should be a top 20 pick, he should be a second round pick. I think you can make those same conversations with Noah Esenge. That's why I personally do not have him as a top lottery prospect. But if the Clippers do want to bank on his defense, Penda does make sense. Now, here's the second round. We're going to go pretty fast with the second round, just talking about some stuff, some fits. At 31, Ben Sar, forgot about him to the Timberwolves. They do need guard. We saw them take, what did they take at 17? We saw them take Sorber at 17, so Sarif does make sense as another guard. Kalkbrenner to the Celtics, teams back up with Showerman. Aduthiero, great pick to the Hornets. Yannick Conan Niederhauser, another prospect that has risen his name up during the combine, during the pre-draft process. He's going to be a second-round pick for sure. I think that's a good pick to the Hornets. They have back-to-back 33-34. Hansen Yang, excited to see him get drafted. Jameer Watkins, I think he's a lock to get drafted. Same thing with Alex Tuhi. A guy that I, in the beginning of the year, had as a top 30 prospect. Chaz Lanier, the scorer out of Tennessee. Bogoglav Markovic out of, where does he play? Is he Serbia? I think he played in the, I don't know what it's called. But it was the game. Is it Jordan? Is it Jordan sponsored or is it Nike sponsored? It was like the World versus the U.S. for mostly high school prospects like AJ DeBansa. I don't think Darren Peterson played in it. AJ DeBansa, Cameron Boozer, Michael Brown Jr. There's a lot of. It was a good game. Darius Acuff, I believe, played in it as well, and I think he played in it as well. So it might be U18 or maybe it's U19, and he just fits that. But I just remember watching him play, and I was like, okay, this guy's a draft prospect playing in this, or an overseas draft prospect playing in this, high school mainly game. It was cool to see though. Janai Broom at 40. I don't know about that one. Zakarsky 41 to the Warriors. I like. John Tonje, not as high as a prospect on. I don't think he should get drafted, but whatever. 42 is fine. Proctor 43. Bro, Proctor I think could be a sneaky late first round prospect. I can see a team taking a hit on one of those. Eric Dixon, Zion James, two guys I actually would like for the Knicks at 50. They go 44 and 45. Cam Jones. Whoa, Cam Jones. Still on the board at 46. All right. Magic and absolute steal. Kobe Brea, 47. Another guy I would like for the Knicks at 50. Javon Small, 48 to the Grizzlies. Vlad Golden, 49 to the Cavs. I like that. And the Knicks get Lachlan Olbrich. I would rather a more proven prospect at 50. Victor Locken, he is a prospect that I have not seen on Fanspo for some reason. Yo, Fanspo, get Victor Locken on your big board. I loved watching Victor Locken last year at Clemson. I mean, man, the skills that he possessed on the court of that one game against Duke, where he was hitting his threes, where he was facilitating like Domantas Sabonis. I mean, it was crazy. His touch around the rim was great too. I'm really surprised people aren't as high on Victor Locken as I am personally. I think Victor Locken should be the late first round guy. I think he's that good. But yeah, he's not even on the Fanspo website yet. Kobe Sanders, Nevada, 52. Dick Payton, 53 to the Jazz. Wow, he's almost falling out of the first round. Micah Peavy, that's a good pick to the Pacers at 54. Another guy would not mind for the Knicks. If Hunter Sallis is available where the Knicks are picking, I think they should pick him though. Elijah Martin, Amari Williams, Ryan Nemhard gets into the draft. That's nice to see. At 58 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the man himself, R.J. Lewis, 59, to the Houston Rockets, 58, 59. Two pretty good picks. I think those are guys that can be a lot higher as well. Ryan Nembhard is one guy, though. I think he's going to come in and bring really good backup point guard traits already. Elite passer. He led the nation in assists, I believe, last year. But yeah, elite passer. He just knows how to set his teammates up, and he's been able to do that all 4 years of his college career. Did it with Ryan Kalkbrenner to start his college career at Creighton. I got a front row seat to that because I'm a UConn fan, saw them play twice a year. But yeah, he's improved his game a lot, and I'm really glad to see him with all these players dropping out because of NIL, returning back to school. I'm really glad to see him in the NBA draft, potentially get drafted. That's going to be it for the mock draft reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me what you think about this mock draft. I think dropping Ace Bailey to number 6 was definitely a bold move, but maybe it is a move that has to happen. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.